All right, well, I was through the pleasantries already, so let's just hope that this one actually works. I changed my capture cards, as they're known, for the camera, so hopefully this all works out. Either way, if this is the first time you're joining us here on the second go of today's Farsi show, it's going to be a brief show today, unfortunately. Welcome and thank you for sticking with me if that's exactly what you did. Sixers get blown out because they're terrible at basketball in the third quarter. They also don't have Joel Embiid. They don't have Dominic Barlow. They don't have Quentin Grimes playing in this game. And if you didn't hear by now, they also don't have Jared McCain, which was, stupid deadline move there by Daryl Morey. We'll get into that. Chris Kuper gets hired as Jeff Stoutland's replacement. And we'll also hear from Nick Nurse last night after the Sixers were blown out and why that third quarter was so terrible. Let's start with Chris Kuper. He gets hired by your Philadelphia Eagles as the replacement for Jeff Stoutland. There are two things that jump to mind on this hire. And unfortunately, none of them really have to do with him specifically. We'll get to him specifically in a second. But number one, if you're going to replace Jeff Stoutland, you better be great. Like, there's no grace period here. There's no, like, hey, just give him some time. You know, this is only his second job as an offensive line coach. You know, just give it. No. Great immediately. Yeah. We don't know about Lane Johnson, although yesterday we did see Lane Johnson working out like a crazed maniac. So if you think he might be back, that would support that theory. That would certainly support that. You don't know if Landon Dickerson's going to retire. So basically you don't know who Chris Kuper is going to have on his offensive line at this point. But either way, he better be great from jump. Number two, this is just another example of hiring somebody that is apparently of the Sean Mannion ilk, okay? You're looking at Ryan Mahaffey, who's been hired by the Philadelphia Eagles, who coached with Mannion in Green Bay for 2 years. Now you're looking at another hire for Sean Mannion, who he crossed paths with the Minnesota Vikings when he was a backup quarterback over Kevin O'Connell. So that's what we're doing now. Apparently, we're building the coaching tree of Sean Mannion. I hinted at this. I didn't get into this that much, but I hinted at this when we talked about the Mahaffey hire, which is, okay, so now not only are you in the vicious cycle of having an experienced offensive coordinator and play caller, and then he has success and becomes a head coach, i.e. Shane Steichen in the second year with the Eagles leaves and becomes a head coach after a second year with the Eagles. And then obviously Kellen Moore. So now not only are you just hiring your offensive coordinator, but it looks like you're going to make over your staff. And it's not just the fact that they hired two people. It's that they hired two people and got rid of Jeff Stoutland, for crying out loud. So now what are we looking at? Are we looking at not just an offensive line coach, or should be an offensive coordinator leaving after this season, but a whole offensive staff? And then not only are we in the same boat as far as finding another play caller, but we're also in the same boat as far as finding an entire offensive coaching staff. So if this works, you could have massive turnover on the offensive side of the football next year. If this doesn't work, you could have massive turnover for everybody when you consider the idea that Vic Fangio is most likely going to be coaching in his last season. So let's just live in the world for a second here where this isn't a disaster, where the Eagles' 2026 campaign is successful in terms of they make the playoffs, they win a playoff game, and the offense looks great. Let's live in that world for a second. Good, they've had a great year, but they come short of the Super Bowl. But Sean Mannion looks brilliant, and all of a sudden, he's not just getting offensive coordinator interviews. He's getting head coaching interviews. I would doubt it would happen after 1 year of success here in Philadelphia, especially if they fell short of the Super Bowl. But you could be in that vicious cycle even more than just hiring one person. And then what? You're going to bring in a new system? Or this is all just terrible, and then we all know how that ends, which is nobody is back, including Vic Fangio. And the Eagles, hire Jim Schwartz as their next head coach? They hire their first defensive-minded head coach since Ray Rhodes? Yeah, that's right. Good morning, if you're just joining us. So, look, here's what I noticed from a lot of the national voices that I hear, because I find national voices will be more objective about the Sean Mannion hire. They're they're more likely to reach for a little bit of optimism in all of it, whereas the local people might just be all doom and gloom. And I can understand that too, because you're talking about a guy coming in here with no experience. Yes, he played the quarterback position for 9 years. Backup quarterback, I should say, in the NFL for 9 years. Good for him. Lit it up at Oregon State. But there's no track record. There's nothing you can point to saying, oh, this guy really knows what he's doing. I mean, people talked about Malik Willis's numbers looking great under Sean Mannion as a quarterback coach in the 1 year that he was a quarterback coach out there, not just an offensive assistant. But when people are talking about Sean Mannion and they want to be optimistic, or they want to give some kind of proof that he knows what he's doing, I notice a lot of grasping at straws, a lot of reaching, because there's nothing there. The only thing that's there is he played the position. You want to tell me something that's convincing? He played the position. He's worked for or played for a lot of worked for as a coach, one, but he has played for a lot of great minds that a lot of the NFL right now is trying to replicate. That's what is going on right now. And Sean Mannion now has his run game coordinator in Ryan Mahaffey, and now he's got his offensive line coach replacing Jeff Stoutland, of all people, with Philadelphia. When you replace Jeff Stoutland, it also makes me think, oh, they're not done yet. Aaron Moorhead going to be gone as wide receivers coach? Maybe. We'll see how far this goes. But if you are looking for the Eagles to do anything different, this would be a great sign that something's going to be different. Talking about being under center more. Inside and outside zone runs. That's what Chris Kuper did with the Minnesota Vikings. That's also what he did when he was actually playing during his NFL career for the Denver Broncos. Blocking for Jay Cutler, Jake Plummer, and what was that other guy? Oh, yeah, Peyton Manning. So that's who the Eagles now have as their offensive line coach. He was out there in Minnesota for 4 years rather. This past season, he had 27 different makeups of an offensive line. That's what he had to deal with. One Pro Bowler, by the way, in his time out there in Minnesota. And if you remember, you go back to the game that the Eagles played against the Minnesota Vikings this year, their offensive line did not hold up well. It was just 2 sacks on Carson Wentz. He was under pressure a good amount of time. I think we all remember Jalen Carter getting in his face, helping with that interception to Jalix Hunt. Became the Eagles' not only leading sacker, but leading interceptions leader this season. So a lot of things there with the Philadelphia Eagles and their offensive line coach in Chris Kuper. The other part of this should be from that same game, that Minnesota Vikings game. The Eagles basically cut through the offensive line in the run game, holding running backs to 3.2 yards per carry on 19 carries, I believe it was, in that game. So they did a fine job of containing the run game in that one. That was the game. Yeah, that was pretty well. So look, all this does is tell you how much they're going to invest in Sean Mannion. That's what this hire does. If you're someone that wants to see a lot of things different from last year to this year, well, here it is. A lot of things are going to be different from this year to last year. From last year to this year, I should say. So I look forward to at least seeing it all come to fruition, but we won't even get a glimpse of it until rookie camp, mini camp, extended OTAs, training camp, preseason bland, and then week 1 of the new NFL season. So that's where we're at right now. Your Philadelphia 76ers did get spanked last night. Was really looking forward to them closing out the road trip 4-1. That didn't happen. First quarter, they win by 2 points over the Portland Trailblazers. That was fun. Second quarter, they lose by a point. All right, whatever. No Joel Embiid, no Quentin Grimes. They're feeling it out a little bit here. No Don Barlow in the starting lineup. Trenton Watford was in your starting lineup, by the way, folks. That's what we were doing last night. Then you see Marjan Beauchamp come into the game. He makes his first appearance as a 76er. There you go. And in the third quarter, the Philadelphia 76ers start out in an 18-4 rut. 18-4. Felt like before you could even blink in the third quarter. Then they go on to get outscored in the third quarter against the Blazers last night 49 to 22. 49 to 22. That's like hard to do. Here's Nick Nurse.
Obviously, there was a bunch of energy things, right? We didn't rebound it well enough. I mean, transition rebounding, and didn't get out to shooters near enough. I mean, they were just lacing up threes, so it was up the floor quick. We were losing matchups. When we did make a miss, they were getting them back and kicking them straight out for, again, non-contest threes. So we weren't. I mean, you got to keep playing those possessions out, and we didn't seem to have enough juice to do it there for a stretch. And obviously, they blew it, wide open. 8 threes in the third.
Yeah, they did it wide open. 8 threes is what he was about to say there in that third quarter against the Portland Trailblazers. This looked like a combination of not a lot of talent on the floor, unfortunately. I mean, you like to think that Tyrese Maxey is going to go off. He had 30 points, but Maxey last night had 30 points, 10 of 21 shooting. Not terrible. 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Okay. Minus 22 overall. Not ideal. Kelly Oubre last night, 19 points, 6 of 13 shooting, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc. Maxey, by the way, at halftime was 0 for 5 from 3, just to go to that. And then this is where the Sixers lost the basketball game. Ready for this? This is a good time. Again, the 76ers were owned on the glass. Owned on the glass. They were out rebounding the total 51 to 33. 51 to 33. On the offensive side of things, just the offensive rebounds, they were out rebounded 20 to 8. What? Yes. 20 to 8. Drummond last night, 7 rebounds. He had 5 assists, by the way. Just 3 offensive boards. Nobody else had more than 3. VJ Edgecombe had 3 offensive rebounds as well. This is another number. When you're looking at guys that are supposed to be getting some boards for you, Adem Bona played 17 minutes. He had one rebound. It was offensive to his credit, but no defensive rebounds for Adem Bona in 17 minutes. That's a problem. That's a problem. That seems like a problem. It's a problem. Confirmed. It's a problem. So before the game, Keith and I were just kind of speculating during yesterday's Locked On 76ers show, just saying, hey, this could be the getaway game. This could be the game where there's a little low energy because they're already eyeing being home. They play Wednesday night at 7:30 against the Knicks. Joel Embiid was dealing with a knee injury or knee management, so questionable going into the game. So if he didn't play, like, all right, let's see what you got. And they didn't have anything. Starting in the third quarter, they really didn't have anything. I thought sooner this is going to be a game that Maxey takes over. This looks like a game that Kelly Oubre could really get into the next. Hey, VJ Edgecombe, let's see you get out there and cook there, young fella. He didn't. That was bad. It's all bad. So they come home 3-2. Meanwhile, the Pistons and the Charlotte Hornets are like fist fighting on the court or something. They showed some fight, and not so much with the Sixers. We did get news over the weekend. Tyrese Maxey would be participating in the 3-point contest. The more Sixers involved, the better, unless they're Joel Embiid, and I just want them to relax over All-Star weekend. So there you go. Hey, Philadelphia Phillies. Pitchers and catchers tomorrow. Monday, full squad reports to Clearwater. It also became confirmed what a lot of us suspected was that Zach Wheeler will not be ready for opening day. Not a shocker, so everybody else step up, right? That's all that works. I'm going to tell you guys the same thing over and over again when it comes to this Phillies team until they actually do it. And what I'm going to say over and over again about this Phillies team until they actually do it is this is going to be all about Justin Crawford. This is going to be all about Andrew Painter. This is going to be all about Bryce Harper proving that he could still be an elite player. That's what it's going to be about, guys that you thought you could depend on and haven't been able to depend on. That's what the season's going to be about. And you're really being told by the Philadelphia Phillies, we have a huge problem here that hopefully Bo Bichette can solve. Here's Bo Bichette, everybody. Just kidding. He's not here. We're not changing too many things. That's where we're at right now. Good times. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Thanks, everybody in the chat. I got to fix this problem, so hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks for watching the Farzy Show. Apologize for the technical difficulties.